Hey guys, it's me, Ruowen Huang. I am an author, spirit coach, and also a psychic. Today, I'm gonna talk about self-reflection within criticism. The reason of this is I think I have a very interesting morning. So-called interesting is I actually woke up, I'm a deep sleeper, right? I don't usually wake up by anything, not even noise or anything. But this morning I woke up by very random thought. That thought is, I always joke about my husband attract dramatic people. He attracts dramatic people in his life. And then I never understand why, because I don't like dramatic people, right? So I don't like people have to express or dealing with things in so dramatic way. But, so I always make a joke of that, some reason he always deal with dramatic people. And then so some reason those dramatic people always end up perceive me as a target or, something. So, I always joke about it among my friends and don't understand why. But this morning I woke up with that thought, but also think about, okay, if this is type of people my husband attract, I attract specific type of people too that later got my attention. Is I seems to attract people with a money issue. Money issue is not so much they are poor, but more like their life is defined by money, how much money they make or how little they have, or it seems like they devote most of their life chasing after money, using money as their identity to value how security the life and thing is, right? Or people who is always crying, they don't have money. So I would take my family, for example, almost every single one of them are like that. And I couldn't quite understand, okay, if I always talk about you surround yourself with the people, with a task that you have to work with, right? So with my husband, I would say, well, that must be your task. Now I put myself in a situation and thinking, well, if my theory is right, does that mean, it is my task too, right? Because I never really quite understand when I listen to their story, I never really quite understand why they are trapped by it. Especially if you come to my position knowing what I know, by who they are, what they are, their energy is continuously fighting against what they believe, right? So I woke up this morning feeling very puzzled because I'm very confused, confused myself. So the reason I want to share with you, just let you know, I'm probably like you and me, right? Like any random people. It doesn't matter how much I know. I still have a life to live. Living this life, I still deal with things that I don't know or trying to figure it out. So, so I woke up feeling confused, and I telling my husband I woke up very puzzled. I don't really know the answer to this. So sure enough, we went out for coffee. I come back, and then the first thing I saw on my computer, sure enough, it's a Facebook, and it pop up, right? The first thing it show up is actually a TED Talk about this girl, who is called Meg Xu. The title she talked about here is, when you are you criticizing others? It would come down to the bottom that it is us that we hate the most, right? So, sure enough, I spent another 17 minutes to watch all the TED Talk. This Meg Xu is a playwright. She writes famous play, Taiwanese soap opera, things like that. And then she's talking about how, she write a lot of story, like her character is actually, hidden among the characters she create, right? And then it come to a point she start to realize, people always speculate which character is you, are you hidden in somewhere, or, are you something, right, among the story that you write. And then she said she could actually come to this point, start to realize I'm in every character I create, because I am the god of the character I create. I decide how their life, gonna go, and I decide why my life, character always say, why is God treating me so unfairly? In the story that we create, we are the God to them because we decide how their life is gonna be, right? So what's so funny is, because listen to her story, I start to realize, with me, I write book too. I talk about I'm an author. I'm actually not a spiritual book writer. I'm actually, I write romance. I have 30 plus romance book in Taiwan, right? So I start to realize when she talk about it, I feel the same. I feel I am in every character that I create. They are not perfect. They have flaws, but they have somewhat part of me that is me because I give them personality. So, and I decide how that is gonna go, right? I use my imagination to make sure how the story gonna run. So in some way, I am God. I decided how the characters gonna go, how their life's gonna be in the book that I create for them, right? So by listening to the TED Talk, I start to realize I too go through exactly what this girl is going through. Is we will come to a point in our life we start reflect ourselves. Who are we? Who are we in our character? What kind of flaws that it is, right? Why we spend so much time criticize others, right? Is there part of us that we actually hate the most? I start come to this awareness I would say after I know so much going on and then the spiritual world. I actually come to this awareness about 5 years ago. I realized there are people that, I simply really don't like. Most of it, I don't like dramatic people. And I don't understand why people have to express or live their life so dramatically, right? But then, at that time when I start come to awareness, I would, I talked about in the previous episode, we all plan the test of life, right? We all plan the purpose of life and test of life. What it is we try to evolve ourselves. So when I actually come to that awareness, I also come to awareness of, is there something that is actually within me? Like what they really do is not like they bugs me. What they really happening there is they are simply reflect a part of me that I don't like of myself the most. That's why I have a radar, right? I have a radar, like I spot that right away. I spot that dramatic character right away. I spot that right away, right? Because I have a radar, because I've been spending my whole life criticizing myself, not knowing I'm criticizing myself. But that's why when people have that character show up, I notice it right away, right? So when it comes to my awareness, I start come to, instead of always dislike someone, my head will always have awareness and the conversation asking myself, maybe it's not them that I hate so much. Maybe there was a very dramatic part of me that I dislike the most. That's why whenever people are acting dramatically, I got influenced by it. My emotions got influenced by it. So when I start to think that way, as I say, in the universe, if you have a question, they will always give you answer, right? So that was a period of time I would hear comment and have people say, yeah, they haven't met anybody's life is way more dramatic as my upbringing. Or they will have people who grew up with me and saying, yeah, you are very dramatic. You just try to act not dramatic, right? So, as you all know, it's hard to take criticism, right? Especially when the criticism goes so directly to you. Trust me, it's hard. But it's a moment you really have to sit back and think, maybe they are right. Maybe they are true. What is it that part of dramatic me that I haven't learned to accept yet? What is that part of me I haven't learned to find peace with yet, right? So, as you can say, once you aware, I always tell people around me, right? Awareness. Awareness is the first step of your evolution. If once you have awareness, that means you have something to work on. It's when you don't have awareness at all, you have nothing to work on at all, right? So when I was put in the position to start working on that, I start to realize, yes, there's a very dramatic child in me, like dealing with all those life drama that I never learned to cope with, right? Then I start to, this person, tactile person say, you should spend some time to talk to yourself. We spend so much time to talk about other people, how other people is not right, how other people is not doing this, how other people is, how they like can do better. You know, it's really the time you actually spend some time to have a conversation with yourself. Yes, there's a dramatic part of me, but what is it, right? Why are you so dramatic? Why? So when you actually start having a conversation with yourself in a regular basis, you will actually start to be okay with it. You're okay with it in a way that you will no longer have the need to be dramatic. You are okay when people are being dramatic. So I would say where I am right now, I'm better than I was 5 years ago when people are being dramatic in front of me, right? But, you know, that's just one start. Eventually, once you start to work on your issue, it will come one after the other because it will continue showing various things for you to work on. When you come to a piece that is okay, you are actually okay with it, right? You no longer feel the need to protect yourself, to hide from the world like you have this flaw, to fight for yourself. Then you come to this point of peace that you are okay. Once you're okay, then, you know, the universe likes to throw me another task, right? So, as I said, back to the beginning, today I'm just going to do random talk. That's a little crazy topic. And, you know, this morning I woke up, as I say, 2 things happen within 1 hour is a sign, right? Why do I surround myself with people who got money issue, right? I start, instead of before, I right away might come to denial and say, you know, I don't. They do, but I don't, right? As I say, after watching this, I start to think about maybe I do. Maybe I do. Maybe I hide it so well that I don't even know I do, right? So maybe it's something I have to work on. But then I also come to this point thinking, if among those people, like they do not have awareness of it, but I do, maybe it's not just a task that I have to work on. Maybe after I'm working through it and figure this out, I also hold the key for the solution. So, you know, this is, now you know how much thing going on through my head every day, even though I sit still and do nothing. You know, this kind of thinking would then give me an inspiration to figure it out for myself, to figure out what it is I have issue with. Right? Because really, when I think back this morning, when I start coming back, sitting here and start thinking about what may possibly cause my money issue, right? Because my husband would talk about because he lived as poverty, right? They don't have much money since they were kids. They were always worried about where the next meal gonna come. That's why he had the money issue. I come back to think about where I was. I never really lived wealthy, rich, you know, we always live under people's roof. But one thing I start to think what might cause my money issue is, my dad liked to use my money as a threat, like he had power over us, right? If you ever get a penny from him, he want to make sure you write down how much you owe him so he can charge you interest in the future. He used it as a power over us so much. In a way, I start to believe maybe they were part of me, wanna grab that power from him, right? Because based on my story, I'll not be strong everywhere. Maybe somehow, some way, mentally, I believe I will make myself successful and have tons of money so I can have that power over him. So anyway, I don't have solution to you guys, not really. As I say, throughout the year I worked many issues, but this is just one of it somehow hit me in the morning. And then, you know, but I'm here to share with you what is going through my mind in just the past 1 hour. You know, another task for me to work on? Hooray! More room for us to improve. But, you know, as I say, along the journey, we're living our life to figure out what our test is. We're living our life to figure out there's always room for us to improve to a better person. There's always an opportunity and practice platform for us to become a better soul. So I'm here to share with you, I'm no different from you guys. I'm living my life, try to overcome my own issue as well. But I thought I'd share with you all this very interesting morning, which I find interesting anyway. So anyway, very random, but I hope you guys enjoy it. Again, if you guys like what I'm talking about, join me live on Periscope, or go to my Facebook, or subscribe my YouTube channel, or go to my website, ruowen.com. What I want to share with you today, really just one purpose, When we are criticizing others, right? Instead of having that hatred built and always criticize others, maybe it's about time for us to take it back. Before that word coming out of our mouth, sit back and think about what it is that's hidden within this criticize that reflect the part of us that we don't like. That's why we have so much emotion around it. That's why we have the need to criticize it. So, just a propose, you don't have to do it, but, just think about maybe there's a self-reflection within every criticism we are about to give. So, though I share with you guys all. So till then, I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.